Good evening. I'm Carol Essex from Etobicoke Centre, and I want to thank you for holding this opportunity for residents to speak to Council. First of all, I respectfully submit that I consider the new strong mayor powers to be a slap in the face for voters and for democracy. This stratagem was revealed after the election because it would never have passed a voter referendum, and it should be rescinded. As a mother and grandmother, I am deeply concerned about the emerging climate crisis. Will the world continue to devolve into climate destruction and chaos? What kind of a life will our children and our grandchildren live? The city is talking the talk in the document of Transform TO, yet we are not walking the walk with anything like the urgency or the funding that is required. I congratulate Toronto City Council for enacting Transform TO in 2017 and for supporting the declaration of a climate emergency. But if it's a climate emergency, we sure aren't acting like it. And developing the net zero strategy targeting the elimination of fossil fuels by 2040, a laudable goal, but we are not on track to do that. We must act boldly to create the needed transformation to save ourselves from the impending climate disaster that we will surely face if we do nothing. We must act with the other levels of government on side if we hope to meet these goals. Toronto's limited tax base cannot possibly meet the gigantic needs of this moment in time. As governments came together to save ourselves from the pandemic, we must now together save ourselves from this climate emergency, using a climate lens and a carbon budget for every decision. As a resident and homeowner in Etobicoke, I want to know what steps are needed to successfully retrofit my home. How do I find the contractor and tradespeople with the training and know-how? To that end, I am making some suggestions. Starting now, we need a federal, provincial mandate developed in concert with the City of Toronto for chosen experts to develop a new federal building code reflecting the different climate zones of Canada, which would be an evolution of the existing R2000 standard. The protocols of the new zero emission standard would include the same protocols as R2000, constructed by builders trained and certified in this new standard, evaluated, inspected, and tested by an independent third-party inspector, and certified by the Government of Canada. So you know if you're hiring someone to do something we could call R2030 or R2040, you know that you're getting workers who know what they're doing. We need a fast scale-up of funding of training and certification of contractors and tradespeople in the new zero emission standard. There's a lot of high-rises going up in Toronto right now that are not built in the Toronto Green Standard, which means if they're going to meet the net zero 2040 emission standard, they're going to have to be retrofitted. That makes no fiscal sense. That's money that we have to spend in the future, that my children will have to spend in the future. The building code and the new standard become one and the same. In other words, every new building going forward from a set date, say 2024 or 2025, should meet zero or net zero emissions. We need a mandate for all new builds to meet that code. We need defined SMART goals to achieve new builds and retrofits within timelines that will meet the 2040 net zero emissions. And it shouldn't just be the municipal buildings. buildings. It should be all the buildings. It needs to,
If you can wrap up, please.
okay, thank you.